Hello everybody, my name is Shorter2with5 and welcome to the long-awaited Dragon Ball Super Broly special of Dragon Ball Super What If? Haru the Stars. So last time, I think this was quite a while, we discussed on basically the specials, and then in the main series we managed to finish up the Tournament of Power. Frieza's still alive, Goku and Vegeta are still getting stronger, 21's actually settling in quite alright, and Haru, she's just trying to lay back. I mean, now that a tournament to decide the fate of the universe was finally done and over, now's the time for peace. Or is it? Because if you remember, we still have Brawley, and we still have, like, GT, and maybe a couple other sagas in the process. So without any further ado, representing the Brawley season of the channel, it's time to begin the Dragon Ball Super Brawley saga for Dragon Ball Super What If? Haru the Stars. But also a couple more fillers before the series, so without any further ado, let's begin! Alright, so here we go. On a nice sunny day, Haru and Launch decide to visit Android 17 after their shift was, done, because remember, they're still truck drivers, which of course they get paid well, and yeah, they just have a good time spending time with each other, but this time, I feel like it's right to see 17 once in a while. Anyway, the two were quite pleased on how well he has done on the island, because if you think about it this way, he's the only mortal on the island, and boy, those poachers don't stand a chance. It even comes down to Haru and 17 having a little chat, reflecting on their past and how much they have grown together as individuals. Haru mostly. And then suddenly, a band of poachers came along to order 17 to surrender his island and the treasure that's inside it. He, of course, refuses, because, it's Android 17, man. You really think he's just gonna, just take up on their offer? Heck no! And then, one by one, he battered every single poacher until Launch was taken as hostage by one of them. Haru panicked, but thanks to 17 kicking up some dirt, Launch sneezed, and the poachers were no more thanks to blonde Launch. The inspiration behind this scene actually came from the original Dragon Ball, where Launch would just just kicking a red ribbon soldier when he's down, and Roshi tries to calm him down. It's a big inspiration for this scene, but this time it's in Dragon Ball Super, so nice little bit of a callback, I would say so myself. Later on, 17 told both of them that the treasure on this island was the animals who live on this island, how they can let bygones be bygones and can live in joyful harmony. Haru and Launch were absolutely moved at the sight of, all the animals looking peaceful and, enjoying their harmony within the small island. 17 later asked Haru to spar with him at one point, away from this island, of course. And because those two have been very close ever since the Cell Saga, oh my gosh, Haru indeed agrees, who of course is given Android 17's scarf from the Cell Saga as a thank you gift. Oh, that's very nice. And so later that evening, Tien thanks Launch for looking after Haru after all these years, and the two even have a quiet moment together before it was all ruined by Chiaotzu walking in. I'm sorry, Tien, I didn't think you were having a moment, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Haru ties 17's scarf around her left arm as a sign of their bond and their eternal friendship. So later on during that same year, Haru and Davies' anniversary, of course, eventually came around, and she could not think of a thing to do for her husband. Haru, of course, asked Videl, Chi-Chi, Bulma, 18, and even Launch about what she was going to do to surprise her husband, until the small Mai, and Android 21 gave her a little hint of saying that Davy won't mind a bit so long as that she's there for him. And on that day, to Haru's great surprise, Davy still loves her despite the crazy and wacky stuff that was happening. And so the two actually put Keiko to bed and had a quiet moment staring into the moonlight and holding hands, because, the thing about Davy is that he's a normal human being. We have to think about this straight, because if you think about Chi-Chi, Bulma, and even Videl, they were normal humans at this point, but, the fact that they have, super-powered heroes as husbands, I mean, you kind of have understanding of it over time, of course, because Goku especially, because he puts all his time and attention into saving the world, and Vegeta, well, Vegeta's just Vegeta, we could all say about that. Anyway, couple of months passed, and while Davy was taking Keiko to daycare, Haru receives a letter from Sanka from Universe 2, to which she remembers her very promise that was placed at the Tournament of Power. She gladly goes with the Supreme Kai Shin to Universe 2 for about 24 hours, because, I mean, I'm sure Davy can handle Keiko for 24 hours, right? So, while Shin and the Supreme Kai of the same universe discuss about the evil within Universe 2, because, you know, according to the citizens, there has been some of that throughout in the past few weeks, Haru then finds Sanka, Brienne, and Sue in a nearby theatre, and of course they all exchange a handshake, ask what they were doing, but then Brienne tells her that they're having a concert, but sadly Sadly everyone who got an invite didn't show up to the auditions, but luckily Haru was there to save the day in Brienne's little world, changing her into a bunny costume, then a catgirl costume. Brienne makes sure that the show will go on. To be honest, if this was like show business, then Brienne would definitely be the strict yet loving manager. And of course, Sanka and Sue would just be in the silence going, Brienne, come on, man, come on. So, while wearing the bunny suit, Haru and the kamikaze fireballs from Universe 2 were on stage, and honestly, the show, from what I can tell, it went perfectly. I will have to say about that, especially with Haru's help, because Haru made a promise, and so she intends to keep it. Until a new villain from Universe 2, who I decided to call Belinga. Now, I know what you Big Bang Theory fans are going to say, yep, we have a villain called Belinga. I think it's kind of like a combination of Bling and Bazinga. So then you get Belinga. Nice. Anyway, so Belinga appeared to defeat Ribrianne and her friends, and Belinga used his ability to turn people into solid gold and steal their souls for his own. So he's no pushover. He is a very powerful villain, and this is saying much for a filler villain. But anyway, we'll get to Brawley. We'll get to Brawley before the end of this video. Don't worry. But anyway, Ribrianne and Rosie fell victim to his might, but both Kakuza and Haru, of course, under the alias of the White Rabbit, as she calls herself, stops the vile tyrant with all their powers combined. After everyone was rescued, the kamikaze fireballs thanked Haru for saving them, and then 1 hour later, of course, well, after 24 hours at least, Haru would then return to Universe 7 and all the way back home. Meanwhile, on Beerus' homeworld, both Beerus and Whis are watching a documentary on GodTube about the famous super warrior known as the White Rabbit. Whoops! Looks like you got a bit of fame there, Haru. So, in another segment, while Haru was tracking through Universe 2, Goku and Vegeta got a message from a different universe themselves. This time it was by the King of Planet Sadala from Universe 6, who has an important task for both Saiyan warriors. On the planet Sadala, they reunite with Cabba along with Caulifla and Kale before finding that Caulifla was the task. Vegeta, of course, took the liberty to train her, but the difficulty is that she wanted to learn how to go Super Saiyan 3 because she thought, yeah, Cabba's a complete weenie, so he can't teach me anything, so I was wondering if you could teach me. But, to her surprise, Vegeta downright refused, saying that it and Super Saiyan Blue are not available yet because she is not prepared enough. Angry by this, Caulifla had a spar with the Saiyan Prince, but Vegeta knocked her out with a short burst of power from Super Saiyan 3 to prove his point. Ouch. Caulifla, of course, after this fight was now stumped, until Goku suggested the fusion dance, giving her a little bit of hope. Oh, fusion dance? Don't tell me it's some kind of ballet trick, Goku. So, nevertheless, together with Kale, and after a few failed attempts which Vegeta prevented by giving Caulifla a bop to the head, because honestly, if you remember, then Fusion Reborn is canon, so he's been through this, and Vegeta doesn't want to see a disgusting fusion form. So every time Caulifla and Kale would mess up, he would give Caulifla just a bop on the head. Oh, Vegeta. My guy. Anyway, so, with their powers combined and their power levels equally matched, they finally fused into their Metamarie fusion known as Kaleil. This indeed would come in handy in the near future, rather than using the Potara earrings all the time, because, you know, there's not going to be much Potara over time. Yeah, true, it only lasts less time than the Potara, but, you know, they're all the same stuff in terms of power. And then Kaleil then transformed into a Super Saiyan 2 in front of Vegeta, who then quietly tells Goku, "Kakarot, I think we're going to need some bigger firepower here. You want to do the... Oh, I hate saying this. Would you mind fusing with me?" Saying that is kind of a one-off, and with a burst of light and the fusion dance completed, Gogeta appears in his Super Saiyan Blue form, challenging Kaleil to a fight. The two Saiyan fusions went all out against each other with intense power. Kaleil fired homing blasts at Gogeta, which was a little tricky just before the clash between Kaleil's gigantic Buster Cannon and Gogeta's Big Bang Kamehameha, causing the planet to shake. As the two were equally matched, Gogeta dodged Kaleil's last attack, which of course, it was one of her homing attacks that was going to fire at Gogeta's back. Gogeta dodges this, and it hits Kaleil right in the face, knocking her out cold. After a quick little rest, Caulifla was satisfied with her new fusion power that she even thanked Vegeta for all that he did. Kale did the same too, for making her friend happy, of course, because she loves making her senpai happy. Good on you, Kale. Goku then asks Kaba if the next time they meet, they will fight together as one, because any student of Vegeta is always a good opportunity to fight. What do you say? Kaba, of course, agrees, and then Vegeta and Goku headed back home with the entire Saiyan race from Universe 6 looking to the stars. Vegeta, of course, was moved at seeing that the Saiyan race still lived on in this universe. Come on, everybody, it's Brawley time! So, after their little adventures of trekking across the multiverse, Goku, Vegeta, and Haru returned to Bulma's holiday home, where Android 21 was there to greet them. Goku gave him a quick hello, but then 21 stamped Goku's foot with his high heels. Ow, what? 21? That's a little bit too far, isn't it? Well, let me explain. 21, of course, was a little bit angry at Goku for skimming her from the Tournament of Power, which, of course, can hurt a lot. But due to her other form being uncontrollable and that she can't fight in any other state other than her base form, and this will be explained in just a couple of seconds, but then Vegeta, of course, persuades 21 to spar with Goku, which, of course, in her mind, she was going to. And after that spar with Goku, and managing to control her margin form without any fear of losing control, both Goku in Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, as well as Full Power Margin 21, shaked the heavens with their battle. So after that sparring with Goku, and Vegeta's help, which of course was friendly advice before he went on to the tournament, she later would forgive Goku after the battle was over. Goku would then carry her on her back and walk straight back to Bulma's holiday home. But then Goku explains what he wants to do after the tournament, which of course was even very surprising for 21, especially after the Tournament of Power. Goku says, and I quote, "You know, you surprised me today, 21. I mean it. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted. And yeah, sure, I mean, a single tournament may be over, but that doesn't mean I want to stop. After all, the Tournament of Power really opened my eyes. You should have seen all those fighters. There's no way I could have stopped after everything now. It just gets me all fired up." 21 smiles, and they both head to the holiday home for a bit of rest and relaxation. And of course, we now enter the events of Dragon Ball Super Broly, where Whis, Goku, and Vegeta discuss about what they want to do, especially after the Tournament of Power. After Goku says his part, Vegeta as we all know, wants to get stronger because of Frieza so that he doesn't destroy the Earth again, thanks to Goku being an idiot. The scene is still there. But afterwards, Bulma got a message from Trunks saying that the Dragon Balls from Capsule Corp were stolen by Frieza's men. Infuriated by this, she decided to go after them, but not without Goku, Haru, Vegeta, and 21's help. Bulma, of course, leaves Bulma with Beerus and Davy this time. Don't worry, Beerus, you're not alone in this one. And sets forward to find the Dragon Balls before the evil tyrant does. Bulma, of course, would then later explain on her wish, and her wish is to make herself 5 years younger. She, of course, explains that, 5 years is quite enough, to be fair, while 10 years would be pushing it, and don't even get me started on 30 years, as Bulma would say. She wouldn't have it. Goku, of course, makes a funny comment saying, you know what, Bulma? Turning yourself into a baby is impossible. You would need to at least use the Dragon Balls about 6 times in order to do that. Bulma then, answers Goku's question by hitting the thrusters in full power, launching him to the back end of the ship. Goku was still laughing the entire time, just as the original film was. So we still got that funny moment in there too. So, while searching for the Dragon Balls, and of course 21 having a little conversation about Vegeta's brother, Tarbal, who is of course still out there, of course, but he just lives on a faraway planet. Vegeta tells 21, Tarbal is a weakling who deserves a good life. And that's all I could say about that. But then, after the shenanigans and running into Frieza's men, and of course trying to get back the Dragon Balls, Frieza emerges from the sky to use the Dragon Balls for himself with the help of 2 Saiyans at his side, which names are Paragus and Brawley. Here we are. So, with 6 Dragon Balls and Paragus' wrath against King Vegeta at his side, Brawley, of course, then charges to Vegeta first, like the original, while Goku, 21, and Haru were forced to watch from the sidelines. So even in base form, as we all know, Brawley was just proved himself, too much for Vegeta with his limitless power, leaving, of which, of course, Vegeta fights him basically at base form, then he goes Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan 2, goes all the way to God and does the thing like he does last time, but then that scene where Vegeta like pushes Broly back in Super Saiyan God, where he fires that attack, basically kind of like a Big Bang attack, I'm gonna have to shift that to a final flash from Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, just giving him a little bit of an upgrade for extra firepower. Goku is a little bit worried, but then Vegeta assures him that it will only skim the surface of the Earth. So with a final flash, Broly is sent sinking into the ocean until Broly emerges with his ultimate unlimited power, not even Super Saiyan yet, and completely batters Blue Evolution Vegeta. And so, Goku was next to fight him, and honestly, it still proved out the same. Goku still went God and used that energy net as well as that Rasengan. So I can't get over that Goku used the Rasengan in the film. It sort of looks a bit like the Rasengan. But then, of course, Broly batters Goku, and then Haru joins in the fight to beat up Broly. Unfortunately, she was no match. Piccolo would then telepathically talk with Goku, but this time, Haru informed Piccolo beforehand through telepathy to bring a few sensu beans. Piccolo will, of course, not join in the fight because, Broly would be too much for him. But at least we have sensu beans now and a Piccolo. Of course, then Goku then got up, as well as Haru, charged up to their full power. Goku with blue and Haru with her new form attacks Broly and proves to be too strong with her tag team. However, Frieza added fuel to the fire by killing Paragus, making Broly even angrier. The power swelling up in Broly was too intense, until Broly himself transformed into a Super Saiyan. Haru, Goku, and Vegeta were, of course, ultimately defeated by Broly and were completely out for the count. Desperate in order to win this, 21 asked Piccolo to give the sensu beans to Haru, Goku, and Vegeta, and decides to fight Brawley herself. Although she was outmatched at first, her margin form was able to keep up and managed to get Haru out of there. So by dragging her and flying over to Bulma, 21 managed to get Haru out of there, but not before, charging into Frieza, but then teleporting away from Frieza just to have a Brawley in his face.
What? Brawley, what are you doing? Have you forgotten I am your master?
Brawley, of course, an uncontrollable Brawley, might I add, sets his sights on Frieza, his father's killer, and starts to beat him up just like he did in the film. Yep, sorry Frieza, you just don't seem to get a break, do you? And, surprisingly enough, even Golden Frieza was no match for his awesome power. But then Goku and Vegeta, now fully healed up, and Haru and Piccolo safely in the sidelines along with 21. Goku then suggests the fusion technique, which of course Vegeta refuses at first, but then of course Goku pulls a good old emotional blackmail, which of course Vegeta blushes because, if he doesn't win this, then Trunks, Buller and Bulma were eventually going to die. They do fuse, and they become the champion of the Earth, at least for now, Gogeta. Both 21 and Haru were shocked, because this was the first time that they have seen Gogeta, because if you remember, the last time we saw Gogeta was in Fusion Reborn, and they didn't see what happened in Universe 6, so this is the first time for them, in which, of course, they were absolutely awe-inspired. Gogeta would then tell all of them to leave for their safety, along with Bulma, and decide to fight Broly with all he had. So, Broly's power went all out. Goku and Vegeta, as Gogeta, went Super Saiyan God, and then, as the fight continued, he went blue, and Broly went full power Super Saiyan. The fight that went on was truly outstanding, and so, as the fight continued, Chi-Lai used the Dragon Balls while the fight was going on, but right now, in the battle in space, Gogeta was about to use the full power God Big Bang Kamehameha on Broly to finish him off. But then, after explaining her reasons to Haru, saying that she doesn't want Broly to die, Chi-Lai uses the Dragon Balls to teleport Broly back to Planet Vampa, shocking absolutely everyone. As Chi-Lai retreated from the area, along with Lemmo, and of course with Broly back on his homeworld of Vampa, Frieza decides to almost destroy them, but then, as soon as Haru and 21 were about to intervene, Gogeta took Frieza by the hand, literally requesting him to stop. He, of course, did so, and vows that his revenge will continue.
This isn't over yet, monkeys. This planet will be mine soon.
So, Broly is now back in his homeworld with his new friends Lemmo and Chi-Lai, which, of course, are a very merry couple indeed. But then, of course, as this happens, Goku then shows up to give Broly food and supplies, but this time in his Super Dragon Ball Heroes attire, so it's a little bit of an upgrade for Goku. So, Broly and Goku, along with Haru, decide to tag along, basically have a little calm talk with each other, and Goku even goes far as to say that he is even stronger than Beerus. Broly then turns to Haru and then walks over and even decides to have a nice little chat with her by saying, "You did well. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I hope in time you'll be able to forgive me." Haru, of course, does forgive him in an instant, and then the two exchange in a handshake. Haru would then notice a little bit of something going on between Broly and Chi-Lai, and even comments how they would make a great couple. Chi-Lai, of course, shushes her up, and Broly was left entirely confused, but, I could see this happening in the near future. And now, it is time for heroes to leave, as Broly and everybody looks to both Goku and Haru as they were about to leave. Chi-Lai asks who Goku was, really, and basically says, "My name is Goku, but Broly? You could call me Kakarot." Goku and Haru then are teleported back to Earth with instant transmission as Broly looks to the sky and says, "Kakarot." While all this is happening, Davy and Beerus were having a little bit of relaxation after they put Bulma and Keiko to sleep. all around, on all sides, it was a well-deserved job. So, with that, that is the end of this episode. So if you enjoyed this this special, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned because the next saga is going to be the Tree of Might saga, and then after that, we will likely see the return of everybody's favourite Pappy's favourite boy, Max Stone, for his own saga in the Heart of the Stars story. So, thank you very so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Dragon Ball Super What If Heart of the Stars. See you in a bit. Bye bye.